The culture is actually damn good.
We're not urinating on fire.
You can stop asking that question. I'm going to be calling the defense.
When I talk to Russell about it's none of your business.
Both games.
Oh, New England, I know you're in a musty film room scheming away to archived footage of the wing tee. Their offseason has been relatively quiet, but I feel more is coming. And that's considering they opened the vault for Juju Smith-Schuster. The only problem is he works best as a number 2 receiver, yet they paid him as a top option. Although their 2 tight end system could help them. Out goes Jonnu Smith, enter Mike Gesicki. And they actually use him unlike Miami did last year. Same goes for James Robinson with the Jets. No, what's really cooking besides a Jonathan Jones extension are the grumblings of a man named Lamar. Do they really want him? Well, you'd have to ask Bill. I'd say it's fake smoke, but there are a billion rumors about offering Mac Jones on a spit. Could we have a poaching situation on our hands? Probably not, but that's what the doldrums of the offseason are all about.
The New England Patriots select Christian Gonzalez, defensive back, Oregon.
He wasn't projected to go super high, but it felt like this slide continued on for ages. Of course, he goes to New England, where Bill Belichick will somehow mold him into an elite corner like his team has for nearly every player they've had at that position. I'd say it was a good draft for them. You get a great player at a position of dire need, and you deny the Jets of a severe need at offensive line. The Patriots have now beaten that team 3 times this year. To rebuild a crumbling empire or not? That is the ultimate question in Foxborough. Over the past few years, too many steps backward have been taken. The fattened king has become too complacent in his duties, yearning for an age-long past, surrounding himself with yes-men that ruin the prospects of Mac Jones, and hoping to God that he can overcome those horrors by his own doing, desperately trying to fill the holes where greats once stood to mix success. Perhaps the Patriots will finally boast a wide receiver again, as they threw money at Juju Smith-Schuster to do, but attempts to woo Nuke Hopkins over here had failed. Ezekiel Elliott is the consolation prize, but like Bill, his star has also lost its luster. Regardless, the hunger to reemerge from the shadows is always on their minds. Sometimes the most unbelievable things can happen in the NFL. Any given Sunday, right? Perhaps Belichick on the hot seat? Oh, that's a bit preposterous. Is it? In the AFC East, regardless of competition, the Bills are still the best in class, in my opinion. AFC North, barring more injury to Joe Burrow, Cincy takes it with their elite offense. The AFC South, it's Jacksonville's to lose. They have to win it by default, right? Although we did say that about Tennessee last year. And the AFC West is a Kansas City affair. As usual. Wild cards, though, they're really hard to gauge. Pick them out of a hat, I guess. Ravens, Chargers, and Jets. Why Jets? Because this is usually how ridiculous it tends to be. Sue me. I'm sorry for all the teams I jinxed, as always. I regret nothing.
Cincinnati, a beautiful night and all.
Excuse me?
A beautiful night in Cincinnati. Tonight's first down highlight.
Tom Brady has returned home. It's not as a player, but he will get a hero's welcome, much to the chagrin of the rest of the league. Will his presence will New England to an upset win? Starting out, that answer's no. Jalen Carter's going direction, and Darius Slay runs away with their momentum with a pick 6. However, Philly's not just interested in winning in blowout fashion. They have to toy with their prey first. Give them the hope of escape so they squirm and burn off all of their energy. Make it easier to feast on their innards. They'll sputter on offense as the Pats' legendary defense revives and buckles down on their opponent. Mac Jones will shake off the Patricia and Judge rust and return to rookie form. But they're still always within arm's distance. Philly can take them out easily.
Run play for Hurts all the way. Ball comes out. Ball is coughed up.
That will happen. The Predator is vulnerable, and New England can strike with haste.
Here's Jones. Pass short of the sticks and it's dropped anyway.
But wait, to countermove. The fight continues to rage and Philly can put them away again.
Across the middle, and it's knocked down.
The bullshit of Brady infects them by proxy. Time is ticking down. Can the Patriots do it? Can they drive the dagger for the kill?
Here's Jones throwing. Catch is made. Did he get the feet down?
Is he in?
They say yes. Booty, the rookie.
Nope.
Oh no, he never got the second foot down. With that, Philly drives their teeth into their prey after a heroic struggle. It was ugly as hell, but they will eat. If you don't have tough luck, you have none to begin with. The Patriots better be thankful Belichick hasn't lost his defensive mastery. If it weren't for that side of the ball, New England would be getting blown out most games. How out of sync they look when holding the football in the first half? They should be thanking the gods they're only down to Miami 17-3 at half. The only offense happening are Patriots fans being cancer. And is that really a revelation? Regardless of that, we're cursed to the same damn script as last week. The defense solidifies with outstanding play, and Mac Jones overcomes the horrors that the Patriots unleash on him to get back in the game. Tua haters proceed to salivate with an underthrown pass that's picked off. But do next to nothing with it as Raheem Mostert takes advantage of bad safety play to rumble for a touchdown. Not a problem for Mac, though. He knows who to target. Eli Apple. At least for some of it, a touchdown to get them within one score does the rest. The question is, can they get another chance? Thankfully, a botched snap on a 3rd and 1 and a botched kick that goes wide gives them such an opportunity. The time of judgment has come upon the Patriots. Do or die time.
Here comes Chubb. Jones throws. It's caught. Gesicki flips it back. It's brought in by Strange, the offensive lineman.
It happened again. A turnover by literal inches. Good God, that's deflating. If I had a nickel for every time that's happened to them this year, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird it's happened twice in 2 weeks. New York's game plan for the season was Aaron Rodgers. Well, what happens when plan A breaks apart in the first charge and you have no plan B? Well, you get morning sickness and endless regret. A tropical storm is going through the Northeast, and unfortunately it can't wash away the stains of the miserable quarterback situation on display. Zach Wilson is dog water. Not even in the traditional highly touted disappointment sense, but in the he literally cannot move the football forwards approach. It's a repeat of last year's disaster against Jacksonville. The Jets are routinely treated like Charlie Brown trying to kick the football. As always, the Patriots are losing. We really thought it was going to be different this year. Alas, God hates the Jets. And the only movement involving the color green will be in the dentures of their fans. New England didn't even do that much. They'll keep it within reach. Please, take the lead from us, they'll say. We really mean it. It's right there, Jets. Just take it. But Zach Wilson will piss himself and eat safeties in the pocket. The situation is unraveling. Garrett Wilson and Michael Carter are rightfully pissed about this disaster on the sidelines. And you'd be too if your QB threw a fucking check down on a 4th and 10. Even as they lose in humiliating fashion to the Pats for the 15th straight time, Robert Saleh will not change his approach. Zach Wilson will be his starter as they march off the cliff. An amputated Aaron Rodgers would honestly be better. He might have been able to move the ball forwards. Great humiliations must be avenged. The Cowboys must prove that destruction at the hands of tanking Cardinals was a fluke. Dallas and Jerry Boy know far too well about putting legendary old coaches out to pasture. A tattered hoodie will be their next victim. Like in week 1, the offense didn't have to do all that much. Simply let the defense wreck everything in sight. The New England offense is still a shit pile, and Dallas simply adds on to the chaos. In the onslaught, Mac Jones malfunctions and forgets how to do the basic necessities of being a quarterback. Brutal turnovers and complete failure to move the football. When Belichick is benching you for your clone in Bailey Zappi, you know it was a nightmare day. For the Dallas faithful, though, the unwarranted claims of going back to the Super Bowl will continue on. If the defense keeps doing this, they have a shot at it. Not only were they sodomized against their will by a Dallas enema, their defense suffered horrific losses in the affair. Their 2 best defensive catalysts are gone. Matthew Judon and Christian Gonzalez aren't just injured, they'll be out long term. Gonzalez is a confirmed unit lost. The hoodie has to scramble, but his specialty is selling snake oil to other teams, then reclaiming it at a fraction of the price when they predictably fail elsewhere. J.C. Jackson has been a disaster as a Charger. He doesn't fit their scheme at all. He suffered severe injury last year, and he's been so ineffective in this one that he's been a healthy scratch. Liquid LA's had enough. Bill wants to take him off their hands for a late-round pick swap? Fine, get him the hell out of here. Welcome to the club, JC. You can never escape New England. You're here forever. Bill, it was a hell of a run. You made us hate you for years with Brady and elite defenses and taped practices, but we all have an expiration date. Yours is here. Look at how awful your offense looks. Mac Jones isn't just cooked, he's pissing himself out there. Dude's turning into Squidward in the kitchen, just burning everything in sight behind an O-line that doesn't block. If there's a read, he misses it. If there's a bad throw, he makes it. If there was any confidence, it's gone. Good work, Patriots. You've near completely ruined a promising quarterback. The second straight week, Mac was dragged out of a grease fire as he tried to make an omelet. Considering how off he is, it might be his last chance. The Saints used this as impetus for an inquisition. New England's worst home loss since 1969. The worst stretch for a team since the tanking Dolphins of 2019. Punting on a 4th and 3 at the Saints' 40. Is Rod Rush your head coach because it might be 1990? It's also a worst-case scenario for New Orleans. If only because they get another week of Pete Carmichael trying to jam square pegs into round holes. It's a blowout win, but at what cost? Team looked good, but how much of that was simply because the Pats are dead? Bill Belichick, even in his declining state, knows that his greatest weakness is a former assistant of his. No matter what he does, he's either too nice to them or they know where to strike. The Hoodies' once proud legions of stormtroopers are now an undisciplined and shiftless rabble of mercenaries and conscripts. Even a coach as shitty as Josh McDaniels can capitalize against a fallen empire. Not to mention the Patriots' offense has been arguably the worst in football this season. And getting worse. The Raiders are up by 10.5, but feel pity on their old master. They allow that terrible offense to generate some form of momentum for a rare offensive touchdown. There's another wrinkle to the challenge. Jimmy Jesus has once again died for our sins. Another former soldier in the Hoodies army, and Brian Hoyer is under center for Phantom Patriots. Fortunately for them, Las Vegas can't solve the undermanned Patriots defense and is forced to kick field goals on 2 red zone possessions. There's one thing that Belichick is good for, it's coming back against the odds. They said he could never do it. They said he was done. They said his offense was pathetic. Well, is it so with an almost 10-minute touchdown drive for a touchdown to go down by 2? McDaniels' boys are buckling again on offense. New England's going to get another chance. Of course, the one dime that Mac Jones throws in the game is dropped by the perennially frustrating Devontae Parker. And then take a delay of game. Same shit, same result.
Jones.
Safety by Crosby.
I think Mac's buried alive in that end zone. The sad part is that Jacoby Myers probably makes that catch. You know, the guy you cast off for Juju Smith-Schuster. How's that move working out for you, Patriots? We were holding off declaring the Patriots dead for the longest time. Now they ain't just dead, the body's been decomposing for months. I think a few rats are living in it. Buffalo is in deep trouble. They're looking suspicious as hell, but a chunk of it isn't due to their own head. Injuries have destroyed their defense, and it limits their potential. One issue, though. Why can't you do anything against New England's D? They're down playmakers aplenty, too. You're not the Jets. Why the hell are you consistently being pranked by Belichick's ancient schemes? The Bills just had nothing in the first half, and it's a mystery to us all as to why. Perhaps the second half will be better, and it at least becomes a 3-point game. Yet Buffalo just can't shift out of second gear. Opportunities are presented, but they can't take advantage of them. For the Pats, Mac Jones is a warrior. He has to overcome both defenses and his own coaching staff. And a touchdown has given them the unthinkable, a 12-point lead. The only thing Buffalo can count on are miracles. And that's the fortunate thing. The Patriots are undermanned and the Bills have high-end talent. They finally got out of second gear. Stephon Diggs does magic to score 6. Jordan Poyer makes his own magic to give Buffalo the ball back in prime territory. And then Josh Allen is just Josh Allen and carries the team on his back to retake the lead. A 3-point game should be more than enough to win, but there's a problem. Buffalo's defense is undermanned. The Patriots are taking advantage of it. Time is ticking away and New England is deep in Buffalo territory. It's so desperate they're at the goal line. And the Hoodie has his tricks.
Second and goal. Jones swings it. Touchdown! Gesicki!
On National Tight Ends Day, Belichick turns them into wide receivers. Bill earns the 300th win of his illustrious career in a very fitting manner, repeatedly trolling an AFC East opponent. Tanking in New England. Belichick just signed a lucrative extension and wants to pass Don Shula for most wins in the NFL. There will be no tanking here. Only one's running over Buffalo. Home game against the Patriots, automatic win for the Dolphins. The Hoodie and his empire must travel to the harsh environments of Miami. It's already over. They may as well be down in Endor fighting against Ewoks. Bring out the AT-ATs and then fall to primitive traps to go 1 for 9 on third down. Despite having the early advantage. This is the New England way. have some momentum, push the ball deep in Miami territory, and then Mac forces a terrible pass right to Jalen Ramsey. Wait, Jalen Ramsey's back? Thought he was supposed to be out until mid-December. The football world is full of mystery. Like how the Patriots continually frustrate everyone in their fandom with their repeated tripping on landmines. Miami did well, but once again, until they can beat a legit contender, there will always be questions. Just keep grinding these convincing wins out and you'll get another chance. New England, you can beg for mercy all you want, but it will fall on deaf ears. You had about 20 years of relevance. It's time to go back to the hell whence you came. Even against literal mediocrity in Washington, they'll fall behind early with little hope of getting past such a menace. The fortunate thing is that it is the Commies. Their offense will stagnate after such a run, giving New England 2 straight touchdowns. Sam Howell does his best Baker Mayfield impression to close out the second half, but near the goal line, he becomes Sham Howell. Don't forget about being gifted 3 points because, God forbid, someone touch the quarterback these days. You'd think the Patriots would capitalize on such a flawed opponent and rip a win away from them, but there's just nothing. The battered defense can't stop a dime to Jahan Dotson, and the offense just goes flat. Short drives that do next to nothing, allowing Washington to retake the lead by 3 where the agony only continues. The opportunities are there to push forward, but they're not taken. But there's still hope. The Commies lure you in with promises. Tie the game, New England. Let Little Mac capture the magic of Brady to get into field goal range. Go ahead. It's all yours.
He likes what they've been doing. 2nd down and 8. Jones over the middle. Broken up and picked off.
So much for that Brady magic rubbing off. That dynasty may have been ET, but this iteration is simply Mac and me. Only without it being a shameless advertisement. Wir haben Deutschland anscheinend das NFL-Äquivalent zum Versailler Vertrag verpasst. Sie werden durchgehend mit schrecklichem Football verarscht. Zumal erst einmal haben es die Patriots geschafft, sich auch auf einem anderen Kontinent zu blamieren. Ihre Offense verfügt ähnlich willkommen wie die Weimarer Republik. Man konnte so sehen, wie Mac Jones einen Pass nach dem anderen verkackt, während seine Line es nicht schafft, vor ihn zu blocken und die Receiver jeden Ball fallen lassen. Indianapolis glaubt, dass sich eigentlich nur einen Stuhl zu stoppen und könnte entspannt seine Marshmallows über New Englands brennender Leichte lüften. Dieses Spiel war scheiße. Große und erträglicher Scheiße. Wenn ich den Patriots in der Red Zone so schasse, wünschte ich mir, ich war blind. Befällt der Chipshots und Little Mac, der durchgehend mit einigen der schlechtesten Würfer seiner Karriere von Glasjockey geschlagen würde. Der Mac ist abgekürzt und nur der Genius Store kann noch helfen. Seine Zeit in New England ist vorbei. Sein Klon Bailey Zappi übernahm und brachte es fertig, noch beschissener zu spielen. Ein Fake Spike, der in Triple Coverage geworfen wird? Gott, dieses Team ist erbärmlich. Schießt sie nach Polen ab. Sogar die werden das beleidigend finden. I love this timeline. A matchup that only sick fucks like myself could enjoy. Tommy DeVito's magical run to 6 wins against Mac Jones. Somehow not left behind in Germany. It's just as horrible as I imagined it to be. Have you ever watched The Room? This game was its equivalent. So bad it's fucking hilarious. New England is setting offense back to days of leather helmets. Little Mac is more than overcooked. Dudes become char dissipating into the wind. Juju's arguing with coaches on the sidelines, and the Patriots have transported themselves back to 1990. Before you ask, Tommy DeVito is doing things on offense. Somehow. Time's up on the hoodie surge from hell, and Satan's come to collect his due. Bill's doing anything he can to salvage the game, and with how far Mac has fallen, this might have been the last straw. The clone Bailey Zappi is back in at QB. And they did manage to score a touchdown on their first drive of the second half. Don't expect much else after that. Endless punting in one of the greatest games ever played. In this specific spot at this point in time. Hey, if Bailey Zappi wants to chuck the ball into triple coverage again, who's to stop him? It'll lead to a field goal for the Giants to ruin their tank, which is perfect for the slop on display. But by some means of telekinesis, the Patriots are able to move the football forwards with the clock winding. Oh boy, a chip shot field goal to take us to overtime. I can't wait.
Will attempt to tie the game. Ronald's kick is no good. Wide to the left.
Honestly, they did us a favor. we had to suffer through more of this shit, MetLife would have simply cratered into the earth. The football world would have rejoiced. The Giants win the battle, but lose the war for Caleb or Drake. Sorry, New York, those QBs are for New England to ruin. A hoodie and a goat walk into a bar. They sit and discuss how Bailey Zappi will be given the nod over a ruined mac and cheese. The goat ponders, isn't the weather going to be terrible this game? The hoodie ignores him and just starts pounding shots. The bartender then comes over and asks how he got those drinks inside without paying. Don't you know who I am, the hoodie implores. I can single-handedly ruin a quarterback without even trying. The goat tries to stop him, yet the drunkard is throwing haymakers in the rain. But none of them hit because the Patriots are punchless. Throwback uniforms deserve a throwback to 1990. The bartender then drags him across the bar and throws his ass out on the curb. Deflated and shut out. It keeps happening every week, yet the goat sits back and looks pretty in the chaos. Visions of tanks appear in front of the hoodie. Chargers won because the Patriots have cirrhosis. The end. Look, I needed to do something to spice the segment up. This game was fucking terrible. Some things never change. Despite the hoodie having one of the worst offenses known to man, the Steelers still can't beat fucking New England. It's one thing when their defense gets diced by quality quarterbacks, but Bailey Zappi? No inside linebackers is one thing, but the secondary's falling apart as well. The Patriots somehow scored 3 touchdowns in one half when they hadn't matched that total in a month. Absolute embarrassment for a franchise. The king is stripped of his clothes. And the worst part was that New England was begging the Steelers to steal yet another game. But Pittsburgh kept getting outcoached into a damn wall. Constant fuck-ups on offense to the point where fans were calling for Mason Rudolph to play. The Yinzers are down bad. This was a paper-soft underbelly of a schedule this past month, and Pittsburgh may have cost themselves a playoff spot in the process. New England won, but they may have cost themselves Caleb Williams. The Bears are the real winner here. And Mitch Trubisky had the best performance he's ever given that franchise. Fucking chuck a 4th and 2 at midfield. Brother, just get the first down. It's not fucking hard. By the way, Patriots, you may have won the battle, but lost the war long ago. The Chiefs, like their receivers' hands, are suspect as all hell, but we won't get a real gauge on them until January. To call their schedule soft to end the year would be an insult to Charmin. All Kansas City can do is take what's in front of them and smash it to pieces. Who knows, maybe they'll simply throw everything to Rashee Rice. He's the only receiver that's somewhat dependable right now. As we got a rare Clyde Edwards-Helaire sighting, it never felt like a contest. You say the Patriots are keeping it close at half, but they're no true threats. It's because any fumble they recover will be undone by a defensive holding penalty. When in doubt, remember Bailey Zappi has at least one really bad interception he throws a game. Hey, dude's gotta hit his quotas. Kansas City didn't even look to be world-beating. Hell, Kadarius Toney was talking shit about the refs for his obvious fuck-up last week, yet is repeatedly fucking the ball like it's his girl. The Chiefs don't deserve anything, but there's somehow a chance they end up with the number 1 seed. I swear to God, if that happens after all the shit they pulled this year. Dangers of hopium are not noticed until it's far too late. When an overdose of false positives hits a man, there is no antidote for the spread. His healing powers become toxic and erode everything within. His strength may be fading and could be betrayed by powers greater than him, but the hoodie still enjoys upending his former rivals in a time long past. His choice of scheme tonight? The Three Stooges formation. A comedy of failure, fumbles, fucking of the ball, and the death of kickers everywhere. It's less defensive slugfest and more offensive shittery. At least until New England strikes with a precise drive. Really, New England? Not too shabby for the lead. Chad Ryland celebrates by killing a field goal mine. The Broncos defense has lost Vance Joseph's secret stuff and have surrendered another gashing drive for a touchdown. Mind-baffling. You know how the Patriots make this a 16-point lead? Because nothing makes any sense. This is why I'm throwing logic out the window. The NFL did that years ago. All that's left is volatility and madness. And of course, because we can have nothing sane in this world, the Patriots quickly blow the lead they were never meant to have. All I wanted for Christmas was a sports ball that wasn't the length of Gettysburg. We can have no respite from chaos. It is my lifeline. All there will be is the inevitable Denver win and endless hopium that rises from the ground itself. The Patriot defenses are buckling, and the Broncos might do a punt? Bailey Zappi still has some zip left in his arm? They're in field goal range? I have no faith in Chad Ryland, but how the hell did this happen?
Riley for the win. Chad Riley. It's good.
There's a twist I didn't expect. Denver folding at the last possible second to crash to hell after eons of false hope. We outsiders all saw it coming from a mile away, but Hopium forces fans to ignore the obvious signs. Death was merely delayed. A fun swing upward only to remember cold reality. The ride never ends. You are trapped. Enjoy your stay. New England wins by probably losing out on Caleb Williams and Drake May. Belichick's probably not going to be here next year anyway. He doesn't give a shit. But at least he gave us some laughs. People keep saying that the Bills are a sleeper team headed into the postseason. Are we seeing the same games? For most of the past 2 months, I've been watching a Buffalo squad that repeatedly keeps getting in their own way. Just an ugly, 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 ugly matchup, where neither team can execute anything except their own death. Bad offensive performances all around, but mostly by New England. Bailey Zappi didn't just have one really awful interception in this game. He had 3 of them. One juicy turnover being a pick 6. A game where Josh Allen tried to use fire spells but ended up burning himself in the process. Like last week, the Bills didn't win this matchup but merely escaped their own ineptitude. They only came out with victory because the Patriots are starting the equivalent of an XFL team. Seriously, look at their injury report. It's Ezekiel Elliott reliving his final play in Dallas. But that'll be enough for Buffalo to have a final showdown for the AFC East next week. That says a lot more about Miami, if we're being honest. May have reached the end of the Belichick era. The expiration date got hit a while ago. But he's got one last trick up his sleeve. A game bogged down by heavy snow. In the old days, the hoodie would have tucked and mucked his way to a win by any means necessary. But that magic is long gone. What we get in its stead is simply death. The end of life. The end of offense. The end of anything resembling the empire of old. Only it's decaying remnants executing themselves in quick fashion. Brees Young stands tall, dominating in this miserable setting. And in the abyss, there are only hollow victories. The New York Jets finally beat Belichick and the Patriots after years of trying with nothing to play for. Jets fans were hoping this year would have been something special. And to be fair, it was. Just not in the ways they wanted. I do have a trophy here for you as consolation. A vintage injury bowl. It's the only thing you've won in over 50 years, so I'd honestly shut up and take it. Take a trip back in time and see your fate, New England. Welcome to 1990, the epitome of rock bottom for the Patriots. A miserable failure with an offense even worse than that to boot. A modern depiction of the Hindenburg. Mac Jones has become their equivalent to Mac and Me. A completely ruined, soulless shell of a quarterback that'll be cast off for belly button lint in the offseason. The same could probably happen to Juju as well. The unthinkable happened. It somehow got worse than last year's clown show. A withered husk of what they once were. Don't worry, the defense didn't get left out in the cold. Their playmakers went down to season-ending injuries on the first charge. This honestly might have been for the best. The only way to truly wipe everything clean is with a really bad season. Merely treading water appeases no one. And a team that had one of the greatest runs in football history has come to an end. Bill Belichick and his hoodie have fallen down an open reactor shaft. It's surreal to see, but the evil empire is officially dead. New England's been grooming Gerard Mayo to be their head coach for a bit, but it's not the same. The only thing we hope for is a long age of Patriot darkness. May the rest of the league dance on your grave for decades to come.